This video will explain why electricity storage is needed in our energy grid. Imbalance in supply and demand on the electrical grid is due primarily to an increase in renewable energy generation, such as solar or wind. The supply and demand discrepancy is caused by the intermittent nature of variable energy resources, meaning electricity isn't produced when it's needed. Currently, the grids distribute electricity in real time, meaning electricity is being constantly produced to meet consumers' demand. Electricity storage will give the grid operators flexibility to use renewable energy when it's needed and avoid curtailment. There are many different forms of electricity storage, the most common being battery, pumped hydro, compressed air, and flywheel. We're going to be focused on batteries, specifically redox flow batteries. But before we go any further on redox flow batteries, let's see why it's important to have electricity storage. Right. We all probably have heard that the sun is a great source of clean energy. For example, in 48 square meters, which is roughly the size of a pool, in the middle of a sunny day, the amount of energy that we'll receive from the sun is around 288 kilowatts of energy. That is nearly 10 times what the average US household uses in an entire day. So, why are we not using all this free energy? Let's take a look what happens if we implement solar into our electricity grid without storage in place. Here's a day in February in California. It can be seen that the peak demand is around 7 p.m., which is normally when people are coming back from school or work. Now, let's take a look at the exact same day and how much energy was produced by solar. As expected, the solar energy will be produced between dawn and sunset. So, what is the problem? Well, if we subtract the energy generated by solar to the demand curve, we'll end up with a residual curve. The gray line shows that the demand at midday will be lower, resulting that the generators has to be flexible enough to ramp up between the peaks and the minimum demand. So, what could we do? Here's an alternative. What if we can use the energy from 3 consecutive days and use it when it's needed to meet the demand with renewable generators? Let's take a look at these 3 consecutive days. What if we were able to use the solar energy from day 1 to meet the demand at dawn, day 2 to meet the demand at midday, and finally use day 3 to meet the demand the last part of the day? If we were able to store the energy and use it for later, here's what it will look the demand curve for California. The green line will be the new demand for a day. Awesome! We were able to reduce the demand without requiring rapid up or down ramping. So, how exactly can we use the energy produced by the sun from previous days? The answer is electricity storage. We're gonna take a look at one type of electricity storage, the battery. There are two main types of batteries, primary and secondary. The primary batteries are the disposable, non-rechargeable, while the secondaries are rechargeable. Now, let's focus on redox flow batteries, which is a secondary type of battery. What are they and how do they work? Redox flow batteries store energy in electrochemical form. The name redox refers to a chemical reduction and oxidation, which are reactions employed in the redox flow battery. But how exactly do they store electricity? Well, let's have a look at a redox flow battery. The redox flow battery contains one or more electrolyte species. These flow through an electrochemical cell, converting electricity into chemical energy. The electrolyte is stored externally in tanks until the energy is required. The solution is pumped back into the electrochemical cell, discharging the chemical energy as electrical energy. One of the benefits is that it can store large amounts of energy until required with little loss, providing long cycle life with quick response time. The batteries will be charged during peak production of energy and will be discharged whenever the variable energy resource is not available. Great, right? So why don't we just use batteries all the way? Well, it's not so easy. One of the key components of a redox flow battery is their electrolyte, which is really expensive, corrosive, and sometimes toxic. There are multiple chemistries used on redox flow batteries. Each chemistry has its own limitation. Some of them require elevated temperatures on one side of the cell, and others require thermal management, which elevates the cost of the entire system. Redox flow batteries are a promising technology to store electricity. However, the technology is still at an early stage of research. At IceBeck, we're studying ways to enhance some of the chemistries and design of the battery to be ready for a grid integration without increasing the cost. If you want to learn more, please visit our website. The link will be on the description.